It's Wednesday, so every Wednesday here, we talk matters health. We also allow you to ask questions about matters health. In fact, today is a very interesting day because when people saw the list of the doctors who are with us, they were already, even just within, they were already giving me questions to ask as they were coming, as I was coming for the show. But I'm very happy to have with us here Dr. Gikonyo.
Good morning.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Welcome. It's good to have you with us.
Yeah.
And Dr. Prem.
Thank you.
Or Prem. He's allowed me to call him Prem. I would call him Supreme, but he's allowed me to call him Prem. And the name Supreme would fit both of you because of your extensive years and work. Maybe we'll start there just to put it in context. Maybe you can give us a little bit of a background of yourselves, and then I will jump into the different conditions and matters of the heart. Well, if I say matters of the heart, people think it's relationships. But yes, but yeah, matters of the heart.
You're right.
Nonetheless.
You're right, because we define ourselves as menders of broken hearts.
Right. Awesome.
Because physically, our job is just to repair broken hearts.
Right.
I'm Dan Gikonyo. I've been in medical practice for the last maybe 50 years plus.
Wow.
Because we are the medical school class of 1970, qualified in 1975. Been a lecturer in the University of Nairobi, worked in various places in this country, Eldoret, Nakuru, Kenyatta National Hospital.
Right.
Was a professor, was a lecturer, not professor. Was a lecturer.
Right.
A lecturer in the University of Nairobi in 1981. Then I did a stint in the United States in various places, including the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota.
Right.
And now I'm back here in private practice. Founded the current hospital with Dr. Gikonyo, amongst others. And the last 40 years have been just in medical practice.
Right.
The last maybe 30 in cardiology, or the process of mending broken hearts.
Right. All right, awesome. Welcome. Yeah. Dr. Prem.
Yeah, my name is Dr. Prem Pornath. I've been a cardiothoracic surgeon for 30 years. Done about 20,000 open heart surgery so far, and I've done about 500, more than 500 in Karen Hospital, Nairobi. I've been in Kenya, basically in Nairobi with Karen Hospital for the last 5 years. I had my initial training from India, after which I worked in some of the big centers in New Zealand, at Green Lane Hospital in Auckland.
Right.
Then I was in Australia, Southern Australia, Adelaide, at Royal Adelaide Hospital. I did the fellowship from the Australasian College of Surgeons.
Okay.
Then I went to America to do the transplant fellowship in Oregon Health and Science University. Then I was a lecturer in the university there, at the Oregon Health and Science University, before I came back to India.
Right.
Worked there for about 10 years in the private practice. Then I came to Mauritius, worked with the cardiac center with the government of Mauritius before I jumped in here. So we have been good, and I think we have stabilized ourselves in Karen Hospital.
Okay.
And I think we are getting a reference not only from the whole of Kenya, but also from the East Africa countries. And we do almost everything under the sun, except for transplant.
Right. Right. Now, you specialize in CABG surgeries.
Yes.
Maybe you can explain to us what that is.
Yes. CABG means coronary artery bypass grafting.
Okay.
As you know, we are in the new era whereby there's a lot of change in the lifestyle, diet habits, lack of exercise, and we see a lot of changes in the disease profile. We see a lot of blood pressure problems, a lot of diabetic problems. So we are living in an era where there's a lot of non-communicable diseases.
Right.
What I mean to say, diseases, that's a change in profile, because sometime back what we used to see is all communicable diseases, like malaria and things like that, but now changed. Now if you go to any hospital any hospital for that matter, you find a lot of admission of non-communicable disease. What I mean to say that you see strokes, heart attacks, psychiatric problems, eye problem, ear problem, things like that. So CABG, so what happens because of the change in lifestyle, people started taking a lot of junk food, you can say, which is tasty and nice. So instead of the traditional, healthy food, and then lack of exercise, so it tends to cause, and then the added blood pressure problem, hypertension, diabetic, and risk factors, alcohol, smoking, all sort of risk factors. It adds stress and strain plus what's happening in the present world. It causes deposition of cholesterol, calcium, and all things on the blood vessels, and it narrows the blood vessels, which causes the blood supply to the heart and causes what is called chest pain, then leading to a heart attack.
Right.
In doctor's term, we call it myocardial infarction. For that, there are two ways of treatment. First is the medical. Second is the cardiology, what is known as, which DK will talk about, angioplasty and stenting and all those. And third is the surgical part of it. So the surgical part is called the CABG. It is called coronary artery bypass grafting, by which you take blood vessels from the leg or from the hand or from the chest and use it as a bypass the blocked area.
Okay.
So that's what it is being done. And I'm proud to say that we have the maximum number, not only in Kenya, the whole of East Africa. We have crossed more than 100 cases in Karen at this stage,
so
with very good results.
And so for this CABG is done on beating hearts?
It is. So there are two ways of doing it. Traditionally, we used to stop. As you know, heart is a moving organ. So traditionally, we were taught to stop the heart. It's like the car. Stop the car, do whatever you have to do and restart it.
Right.
But now with the technology and expertise, you don't have to stop the car. You can repair the car when the car is running.
Right.
So that's what it is by beating heart. So you do the surgery when the heart is beating without any fancy equipment. When you stop the heart, you have to put the heart on a heart-lung machine. You stop the heart, the function of the heart is transferred to this machine, and then you do the surgery and then, transfer it back. So when you do a beating heart, it's just like a general surgery. You open it and just do it.
Right.
So no fancy gadgets used. Blood transfusion is less. Patient get extubated or get out of the anesthesia faster. Patient goes home faster. So everything is faster. So I think it's good for the patient because the cost becomes less and the complications become less. Only thing is that you should have that expertise to do it because you are doing on a moving organ,
Right. Right.
That's what you have to do.
Right. And, Doc, by the way, I don't know if you remember this, but you changed my life in one way. There's one time we were doing an interview on the other side. I don't know if you remember. And I asked you about, so when we are cooking, what do we use? You said we will not advocate for a specific brand, but the solid...
Salt.
Yes. Mafuta.
Yes.
Hiyo ni mbaya. So hizo niliwacha. Niko kwa liquid.
No, I remember that.
You do?
You actually very well because
Right.
many people come and quote it because after that we went and looked at your breakfast buffet.
Yes.
And we asked what we select.
Yes.
People still remember that breakfast and they ask, we saw you saying what we should eat on that breakfast table. Yes.
Right. And that's the thing. Maybe we can start there, and you mentioned it, Dr. Prem, as well, that most of the problems we have now is because of the lifestyle that we have. So first of all, let's talk about what would you say is a good heart?
No, there is enough data that we have seen, observational data,
right,
that we have seen that shows us that the new diseases, diabetes, heart disease, especially heart disease that we talk about blocked blood vessels, and even some cancers, there's enough observational data that these are lifestyle related. It's the way we live, it's what we eat, it's how much exercise we do, it's the smoking we do, and things like those. And that has been observed. I can give an example myself. Okay. From the time I joined the University of Nairobi in 1970, so now 52 years ago, we have seen a shift, as Dr. Prem has said, of diseases. In those days, heart disease was a disease called rheumatic heart disease, where it was all valvular heart disease. The valves were destroyed by recent infections in the throat. But now that has changed. We have moved from that infection type of heart disease to a new lifestyle. The new lifestyle is made worse by many things. One, people are living longer. We are living longer now than usually 50 years ago.
Right.
So we have more time to get degenerative diseases. So the rise in degenerative diseases partly is because we are living longer, thanks to our general medical improvement in health and housing and many things that make people live longer. But worse than that, we live lazily. We are lazy. We don't do the things that we grew up to do. For example, we are all adaptive creatures.
Right.
The reason you are here sitting here is because of many generations of people who are ahead of us, who lived through lifestyles. They were selected by nature, and the fittest were put on the stage. So what was selected for us as the fittest is no longer what we are doing. We lived in the villages, in the farmlands. We walked. We ate fruit and vegetables. We ate fresh foods. We rarely ever smoked. Smoking is a foreign thing. We took less sugar. We took less mafuta. That has changed. In the last 50 years, that has really changed.
Right.
We don't walk much. I mean, where I used to, in the village, where I used to walk 3-4 miles to school or to church, has changed. We have built new churches near the villages, but more important, there are border borders everywhere.
Right.
Even going to the next very short distance, a few hundred yards, people are riding on motorbikes. So movement has reduced. The farmlands have reduced, so people don't go to Shaba anymore. They go to offices. They ride motorbikes as employment. Those guys riding motorbikes would be digging in the Shaba. They don't do that anymore. Right. So there's no physical activity. The diet has changed. The consumption of simple sugars in these bottled drinks, those were never there in our time. 50 years ago, you could see a child who has been born and lived to be 20, and in those 20 years may have drunk 3 or 4 bottles of bottled soda. Now they drink 10 per day. So all these lifestyle changes, we have seen the disease pattern has shifted from the communicables to these new diseases that are really dangerous.
Right.
And one of the dangerous things is what this disease called this chair that we are sitting on.
Yeah.
Because sitting is a new disease.
Yeah.
Because you find that most of us, they come to the office, we sit. Yes. Oh,
Mike?
we sit in the cars. We sit in the cars. We sit in classrooms. We sit in offices.
Yeah.
Those movement used to do, and the body has been adapted. Human body has been adapted to exercise and to walk. We have changed that completely. We have made it to sit down. And if you sit, like the rich man in the Bible, who harvested all his things and put in a ground and said, now I can rest, he died. Yeah. So we have to be active. So these things have changed, and the bad thing about it is that these lifestyle diseases are very expensive to treat and to maintain, because they are chronic. There are medications that we have to import. I wish we could actually go more into manufacturing our own medications to cut the budget of the Ministry of Health by producing our own drugs. But we have to import them from outside, so they become very expensive. And that it goes across the board. It reduces the money we have to spend on other things, in your education, on improvement of housing. It all goes into these lifestyle diseases. Right.
Right. And speaking about that, one thing you mentioned, Doc, and Dr. Prema, you can talk about it. What is the link between smoking and heart disease? Because that's a thing that, and I dare say, smoking both the legal and illegal, and heart disease, yes.
Yes. As you know, one of the main components of the tobacco, whatever shape and size it comes, is the nicotine.
Right.
And that's the one which causes, what gets into us, and it causes what is called spasm of the blood vessels. You know, Dr. DK will talk in more detail about it. So one of the things that we say to the patient when they come is to stop smoking. The moment you stop smoking...
Cold turkey, stop completely.
Yeah, okay. Because if you're still smoking and come for treatment, it's a waste of money and energy, you know, and time, basically. So we tell that stop smoking. The moment you stop smoking, the healing starts.
Right.
So without smoking, in fact, we had a patient last week who still smokes, one treatment. So we told, no, the first step is to stop smoking, then we take it forward.
Right.
If you don't stop smoking, it's a waste, you know, we are just wasting our time, your time, money, energy, all sort of things, resources.
Right.
So I think that's a very important part of it. As you know, that's very easy to say, but some people say that, you know, unless and until they are mentally tuned and strong and desired, it's very difficult. Right. But I think that's the first step to go.
Right. Right. So what happens, what happens when, you know, what exactly is going on in the heart when somebody is smoking, just to paint the picture? Because we have, you know, laws that have been passed, and now we have the pictures on the on the
cigarette packets.
Yeah. But still, like you said, it's sort of a mental thing. But just paint the picture for somebody who's probably struggling with it.
Yeah.
What is it doing to them?
Let me first of all give you the good news.
Okay.
Cigarette smoking is on the decline in this country. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
We smoke less than we say we smoked 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
And when you travel, our society in Nairobi, for example, smokes less than countries in Cairo or even in India, in Japan, in China. We are smoking less, which is good.
Right.
We are smoking less partly because our cultures are not a smoking culture. You know, in the old days, it's only that things happen. If in my place here in Nyeri, I mean, when I grew up, no woman of any description would smoke a cigarette. I mean, it was uncasual. I mean, women don't smoke. It's finished.
Yeah.
There's no debate about it. No, no woman smoked. Just like no woman wore trousers. You know, but it's culturally, the African culture, not all of it, because I know there are some culture that smoked a lot. I know the women in Kisumu used to smoke the cigarette. The other way around.
The other way around,
But even that, you know, has died. When did you ever see a woman from Luo Nyanza smoking a cigarette inside out? You know, it used to be the norm. So we have to see that it is on the decline. However, that nicotine is toxic to the blood vessels. It's toxic, makes vessels to narrow, and increases the aging process. If you look at somebody who smokes, he'll look older than his peers. He'll get wrinkles, because the aging process, that process that goes with aging of scarring of tissues, fibrosis, is increased by cigarettes. And that happens on the inside of the blood vessels. They're going to spasm, they degenerate, the deposit of cholesterol and other debris is increased the more you smoke. So it damages vessels all over, not just in the heart. Cigarette smoking will damage vessels in your legs, in your brain. You get death of tissue in the legs, you get gangrene. And many people who you see with amputations, especially if they have diabetes, it's because they smoke. Many people see with strokes. Also, partly they could be smoking. It's one of the risk factors, not the only one, one of the few. But the reason to talk about it so strongly is because really you can stop smoking. It's a personal view. I don't really believe there is addiction to cigarettes. When I see a smoker, I tell them they are not addicted. They are deliberate abusers of nicotine. Because I say, suppose you're on the 4th floor and the door is locked and a packet of cigarettes is on the parking lot and you need it. How many of us would jump from the 4th floor to go and pick that cigarette? Because we can't stop smoking. We are addicted. Very few of us, if any, would do that. So this addiction is not actual addiction. It's habitual abuse, deliberate abuse. And therefore, because we talk about addiction, we hide there. Oh, I'm addicted to it. I've seen people stop smoking. When they come and they lose a leg or they come, they have a heart attack, many of them will stop smoking. So smoking, I think, should also go by us. And we are doing a lot in this country in the sense that, you know, smoking is banned. It's not allowed in public places. You cannot go into a pub and start smoking ovio, which used to happen nowadays. So this restriction of cigarette use is useful in society. If I had fight revenue for KRA, I would triple.
Tax.
Yeah, I mean triple for cigarettes. Because, as I say, it's something that we encourage people not to do, and we should encourage them from the beginning of life. Most people who smoke do not start at your age or my age. They start as kids. If you have not smoked by the time you are 30, you are unlikely to start. Most guys who start smoking, they start in primary school or high school, and they get used to it, and they grow up with it. So the fight for cigarette smoking should be targeted to early classes. And we should teach in all areas, in primary school, nursery schools, and we introduce health as part of the curriculum in schools.
All right, so we want to welcome also, in case you have, beg your pardon, any questions, we welcome you to ask. We're asking you if you have any questions surrounding heart conditions, heart disease. If you want anything clarified, you can ask us on 22422. That is 22422. That's the SMS platform. That is 22422. And I like the SMS platform because if you want anonymity, in case you don't want somebody to know it is you or you're going through this thing, because again, medical conditions are personal, then you don't have to give us your name or where you're watching from. You can just go ahead and ask it. But if you're feeling bold enough, it's also good. You can go ahead and ask your question as well. Because if you go on Twitter, you use the hashtag Daybreak, it means you will see the handle. Right? So in case you have any question, you don't have to leave your name. You can just go ahead and ask it on 22422. Or if you do want to leave your name, it's also okay. But the doctors are here and they're going to answer that question. Just before we leave the issue of smoking, now they're what we call, can I say, modified over the years. So we have, let's say, shisha, which has been banned, but, you know, truth be told, it still exists. Now there is vaping. There are I don't know what to call them, the nicotine, the ones they stick here and there. So does it have the same effect?
Gum. Gum that
Yes,
you chew.
Yeah. It's very common in India. It's called kaini. What they do, tobacco with lime and put it in between the lower lip and the gum.
Yes.
It's a dangerous thing. I think it is the ideal recipe to get lower cancer, especially of the lips. I don't know whether it's very common here. They make it a powder and put it like
Yeah,
that.
now it's like in a small sachet kind of.
Yeah.
So it has the same effect and even worse, like you said, cancer.
Yeah, it's a lot of patients with lower lip cancer and lower jaw cancer comes because of that.
Right.
I believe smoking in any form, whether it's vaping or electronic cigarette, there's so many shapes and sizes come.
Right.
They're all dangerous. Because many of these electronic things, you don't know what is coming out of it because it's artificial.
Right.
And it causes a lot of problems. So people are still studying about it.
Right.
But I believe everything is, any shape is dangerous.
And you also talked about, when you're talking about it, junk food, cholesterol. That has become a big topic. I think WHO says 50% of adolescents are obese.
Yes.
So what explain to us again what cholesterol does, and then we also have good cholesterol and bad cholesterol.
That's true. So you are talking about the junk food.
Yes.
When Obama was the president, he made a caption, and it came out in almost, obesity is injurious to health. That's what he has written. Just like smoking is injurious to health.
Right.
Because it can create a lot of issues. Because suppose someone is overweight because of junk food or lack of exercise or whatever may be the reason, it causes joint problems, bone problems. He is more prone for diabetes, blood pressure problems, so on and so forth. Having blockage in the arteries, having heart problem. So obesity can lead to a lot of issues. So I think that's very, very important that has to be we have to control it. I'm not sure about the exact percentage of obesity in Kenya, but I think it's around 20 to 30%. Is that true? Yeah.
And it's rising.
Yeah, it is rising. So it is basically a graph to where maybe the prosperity is getting better. That's why people are going. The husband and wife both are working. So there's no time to cook the food. So the easy way to eat something from the fast food, drive away and take it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what Dr. DK was telling. There's a shift in the diet habit from what it has been to what it is. And that has created a lot of new issues, new problems, and that's what we are seeing as a matter of fact in the hospitals, new disease profile.
Junk food has a major component of sugar.
Okay.
And although we talk much about cholesterol, most of the weight gain we are seeing in our society is from the high consumption of sugar in all forms. Junk food, those buns that we eat, the bread, the chips, and all the fried foods, they add up as sugar in the body. And it's not just what you eat, it's a balance between what you eat and what you spend. Those guys who spend time in the mjengo, they can eat whatever they want. Those guys, you can eat what you want because you're going to burn it immediately. The problem is that we are eating more and using less. We eat and we just sit. So of course the junk food is bad, but combined with this idea of just this disease called the chair, it's dangerous.
Right.
And as I say, the more medical people we have to teach people, the better. As you know, we have a lot of teaching in Karen.
Right.
We stress much on teaching. We have also teaching. We have a nursing school for nurses. We teach cardiologists. We train perfusionists. We train many cadres because we believe that this information must get to the grassroots. The more people you talk to and you train, like now here people who are listening, they are going to be teachers. They are teachers of other teachers. They are going to train other teachers.
Right.
So the more we impart this information to society, the better for our future generation.
So when you say the cholesterol and the sugar, so the cholesterol, it clogs the arteries.
It is true.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so what does that mean? Like when you say my arteries are clogged?
You can just imagine.
What is the effect?
It's a tube. Your blood vessels are tubes. You can even think of your pipe in the house, in the kitchen.
Right.
It gets rusty on the inside. As it rusts, it traps debris. So if you have a new house, the kitchen pipes are very clean. Water goes in very easily. And the house gets older because the debris has gone in there, the metal is rusty, the water does not go easily. In fact, it might eventually block. That's what happened to our blood vessels. There's a factor of aging. as you age, the vessels, you have more time to clog them. And you clog them by destroying the lining. That the lining is destroyed by cholesterol and high sugars. And then debris forms there, some red blood cells and some calcium and other things are deposited there. And eventually you form a blood clot that finally blocks the vessel. That's when you get a heart attack or a stroke. But the damage of the inside, you can think about rusting of a pipe. As the pipe rusts, then the flow becomes disturbed. You have plaques that forms in there. It traps the debris, and you eventually block.
Right. All right. And then the other thing, and you've mentioned it as well, is there is, I don't know if it's a confusion, or maybe you can clear the air. So like you said, stroke, heart attack, we hear cardiac arrest, we hear all these words. Maybe you can help us define them. Yes.
So one thing that we should understand is that whenever there is a disease of the blood vessel, it doesn't selectively affect one organ. It affects the whole body.
Okay.
So one of the dictum is that when someone comes for the heart problem, chest pain, for example, we should also look at the brain, we should look at the legs, the blood vessel as a system, because it doesn't go selectively and block one place.
Right.
It is all over the place.
Right.
So the dictum is to check all the organs and make sure that everything is okay, even though the patient has come for a chest problem. So that is number one.
Right.
Second thing is that you were talking about the good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. Right. When you do what is called lipid profile, DK will talk in detail. Lipid profile, there are many components for it. High density, low density, ultra low density. So many components are there. The high density one is a good cholesterol. The low density is the bad cholesterol. So we want the good cholesterol to be high and the bad cholesterol to be low. We don't want the other way around.
Okay. All right. So talk about the lipid profile now that he's mentioned it, and then we'll go back to the difference between
the lipid profile. Yeah. Maybe just to add on what Prem has said about the disease of blood vessels in the heart being a generalized disease, because all the blood vessels of the body were born the same day. So you find that some are wearing out in your heart. Even the others are wearing out. If you buy tires of your car and you find one is worn out,
right,
I can tell you the others are worn out also.
Right.
Yep.
So the circulation gets damaged in general. There's one area we have not mentioned in circulation. There's one area we have not mentioned in circulation, which is the circulation in men to the reproductive areas. Because there are some things we don't talk about. The disease we call erectile dysfunction.
Right.
Where the thing just refuses to stand up.
Right.
That is very common in people who have diseases of blood vessels. And therefore, if we pull further into that, people who smoke cigarettes will have diseases of blood vessels and they will have erectile dysfunction. One of the commonest causes of erectile dysfunction in men is cigarette smoking. And we don't talk about it much. So it's time that we tell people, the more you smoke, the less you'll be able to perform. And many people, when I tell them that, many of them can stop.
They stop. When they hear they can't function at the junction,
That's it.
Actually, that's what people say. If you want men to take things seriously, tell them that it will affect that area.
Cigarette smoking
It's
does
a wrap, yeah.
Unfortunately, other diseases, like, of course, that affect blood vessels like diabetes and hypertension might do that. But there are diseases we can do something about.
Right.
And cigarettes is one of them we can do something about. So the final event, as I say, is deposition of cholesterol in the blood vessels. And cholesterol, we actually make our own cholesterol in the body. All the cholesterol that we have is not from diet. Quite an amount of it is from what we make in our own bodies. The liver is a factory and produces a lot of cholesterol because we need cholesterol in the body. All the body cells, the cell walls, the walls like this building, these walls in our bodies, the cell walls are formed by cholesterol, like cement in the stone, in the building blocks.
Right.
So we all need cholesterol and we make it. Unfortunately, some of us make more than we need. And there are some diseases where people make too much cholesterol that they start getting heart attacks at the age of 15 or 10. It's called familial hypercholesterolemia. So the data on cholesterol is well known. As cholesterol is not one group. Cholesterol is a mixture of many tribes. There's a good tribe, a bad tribe. The very dense ones, called the high density, are good. They are protective. But the light ones, light forms of cholesterol, called the low density cholesterol, those are the ones that get deposited in the vessels much more. So when you talk about good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, you're talking about the density of the different types of cholesterol molecules in the body. There are some that are light, some are heavy. The heavy ones are good.
Right.
The light ones are bad. But we all make them. So, and we all take them in our diet. So, although you make cholesterol, you can reduce your cholesterol by taking less cholesterol. On the other hand, we can give you a medicine that throws a spanner in the works, in the factory, in the liver, and stops you from producing cholesterol. Most of those drugs that we use that you hear about lowering cholesterol, they are medicine that go in, throw a spanner into the liver, and they stop that factory from producing cholesterol.
All right. All right. Well, I'm told we have a lot of people asking questions. Let's try to get to them, and then we'll continue the conversation. Let's take a look at what you're asking. We'll start with the SMSs. Let's take a look. All right. So we have, this is, how is it possible that there are people who smoke until very old age and probably just die of old age?
If you smoke,
right,
and you die at 80, let me tell you for sure, if you didn't smoke, you could have lived to 95. Whatever age you die at as a smoker, remember, you died earlier.
Right.
You would have died later. 2, the people who live that long are exceptions. They are very rare. You quote one person here or two, but remember, that person could have lived longer had he not smoked. But in general practice, people who smoke die younger than their age mates. So let's not use one example of somebody who smokes.
The excuse.
Most people, there are people who fall from the 4th floor and survive. But the majority will break their legs and you jump.
People try to take that example and try to quote and justify.
Right.
That's what happened.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at the next question here. All right, this is Mwalimu Patrick Butalanyi from Malava. How does excessive smoking affect the functioning of the heart? He says he fails to connect it. Maybe you can explain it to him more. I don't know, Dr. Preem.
Yeah, yes. You know, as we know, every cigarette or every tobacco or whatever shape it is has got nicotine. So the more nicotine goes, more is the problem for the blood vessels. It causes narrowing the blood vessels, as Dr. DK has told. When it narrows, then it enhances degeneration of the lining of the blood vessel, and when the lining is damaged, it enhances clot formation. So the more you smoke, more is the damage. So I would say, whether it's 1 cigarette or 10 cigarettes or 20 cigarettes, it's bad.
Right.
It has to be stopped.
Right.
Because nicotine in any form is bad.
All right. Okay, next question. Is it true that oils yield more cholesterol than fats, solid, after metabolism in the body? Dr.
No, it's actually the other way around.
Oh, it's the other way?
The other way around.
Okay.
Liquid oils are safer than the solid oils. If you go to biochemistry, we call them unsaturated and saturated fats.
Okay.
The more solid the fat, the more risky to your health. So yes, the liquid oils are better to use than the solid ones. Yeah.
What about, so is this true for those who also cook with, say, butter? Or margarine? And
margarines, you know, that's all solids.
Yes.
Margarines, butter are not healthy. In fact, margarine might even be more unhealthy than butter.
Yeah, it's artificial, I think, margarine.
Well, we have to be careful about people's brands.
Margarines. We said margarine. And the one that came to mind, that is now a you problem. But it's margarines. All right, let's take a look at the next question as well. How can one fight cholesterol naturally? What do you do?
That's what we were telling, you know. The more junk food and unhealthy food you take, more cholesterol you consume. As DK has told, it is being manufactured in our body, you know, from the liver. So if you take too much from outside, and if you are inactive, it tends to collect in our body. You know, that's where you find the cholesterol is up, it deposits in different blood vessels and leads to many problems. So diet control is important. Things which does not, better to avoid fatty fried food.
Okay.
That's what I mean to say.
Okay.
So anything fatty and fried has more cholesterol, and you are trying to consume it, it adds fuel to the fire.
So what foods are good for the heart?
Well, let's say, it's good to know what is good, but it's also good to know what is bad.
Right.
And I said, cholesterol, we talk about it, but let us not forget sugar. If you are pouring some juice or some water that's sugared and colored from a bottle, and you are drinking it, it's unhealthy. So bottled sodas and juices and those are dangerous for the body. It's not the actual drink. Of course, it's the quantity. I mean, if you go and, on a party and you have a Coke in a week, there's no risk on that. We are talking about daily, regular, excessive consumption of sugary substances because they will give you extra weight. They will even predispose, if you're on the verge of developing diabetes, it will provoke. And because all those sugars, are, when they go in the liver, they are metabolized to other things. They even contribute to excess production also of cholesterol. So there are food that are healthy. And to answer that question, let's just go to nature.
Okay.
You know, think of how our people lived in the villages. By the time they came to eat what they were eating, their previous generations had experimented for thousands of years. That's why they knew which leaf to eat, which one not to eat.
And for what?
They didn't go to any school to be told, don't eat that leaf,
That's right.
don't eat that fruit. It was knowledge accumulated over generations. The person who ate that yesterday died, so please don't touch it.
That's true.
Yeah.
This one, so we select, there's a nature just by selection. You know?
Yeah.
So we found our parents with some diet that had been selected by them, for them by previous generations. Let us think on those lines. What has, to a large extent, destroyed our society is foreign interference. People who come from a different culture, and they bring their culture into us, and we are different because we were selected by nature differently, and we try to go the other side. Let me give you an example. You go to Limuru tomorrow and buy a very nice cow and take it to Isiolo. It will not survive. Or go buy a camel in Isiolo and bring it to Teto in the highlands. Because there's better grass, it's green. It will die. Because it is, nature has selected that environment for it. So we were selected on a lifestyle of walking, eating berries, eating fruits, eating whole grains. I mean, when we ate maize, which of course is a foreign thing, unfortunately, in our society, but even when we started eating it, we ate it whole. Now we no longer eat maize grain whole. If you go and buy unga in a shop, you're not buying a whole grain. The little inside, the kernel, the yellow part, has been removed to make oil. The outer husk has been removed to make the unga look very white. So we are eating just the white part of that grain. It's no longer whole grain. The same with the wheat. So we are eating very processed, selectively selected foods that are not what our grandparents used to eat. So we are starting a new line. So we have to be selected again. We will become an experiment of nature. And some of us will die, then we will stop eating those things. But we already have the information.
Right.
We just followed what we have been taught by nature. Walk, eat whole grains, eat fresh fruits and vegetables, and avoid too much alcohol, because alcohol, again, is foreign. Foreign in the sense that the huge consumption of alcohol is foreign. Societies, African societies, only drank alcohol in occasions. And of course, cigarette smoking, except for some rare communities, some communities like mine, the Kikuyus, we never had cigarette smoking. It was brought in. So all these new styles that we are taking in is what is damaging us. So to answer your question, what is healthy? Go back to what your grandmother and your grandfather used to do.
All right. Go back to the basics. Right. Let's take a look at the next question. Here, is animal fat like ghee good for cooking? Dr. Prim?
Animal fat?
Yes.
What do you mean by animal fat, DK?
Like ghee.
Ghee?
Yes.
No, I don't think it's good for cooking. Yeah. I don't think.
You know, we talked about the oils we need for cooking, about liquid, especially liquid plant-based oils. Those are the safest. These are the animal origin oils are less healthy than liquid oils. Okay. It says, I don't say you don't use it, but it's a level of amount that you are going to use. Be very use it very sparingly, if at all. Even when you're going to eat sugar or eat a hamburger or drink a soda, very sparingly. Use more of the others.
All right.
But for cigarettes,
okay,
there's no sparing it. Cigarettes, zero.
Yes.
no saying one a day, just for the, yeah, all right. Let's go to the next question here. What amount of physical exercise is good per day?
You know, there's no, many times I tell the patient, there's no point in spending money on a fancy health club and, spending it. A good walking is good enough. If you can walk 5 days a week, 1 hour, it's good. Brisk walking. That's cheap and best.
So it's not just, when you say walking, people are on their phone.
Yeah.
They say, okay, I'm walking.
Yeah.
But so it's brisk walking.
Brisk walking, 1 hour per day for 5 days a week. Saturday, Sunday, they can take it off. I think it will be good.
Right.
That's my feeling. It's to just burn out the extra calories they have accumulated that keep you fit and trim.
Okay. It's good you mention the phone.
Right.
Because most of the smartphones these days can accurately measure the steps you take in a day.
Yeah.
And from the recommended numbers, I think you should target between 5,000 and 7,500 steps per day. 5,000, if you take those steps, it's like maybe 5 kilometers. Yeah. And it is continuous. And I keep telling people, you can walk in many ways. If somebody calls you and you're in your house and you picked your phone, just stand up. One, it's polite to stand up when people call you. When they call you,
especially if it's the boss.
And then walk in your sitting room. Walk as you are talking, because anytime you walk, you are using calories, you are reducing your blood sugar, you are lowering your blood pressure, you are reducing your weight. So anytime you have a chance of walking, please walk. And there are many chances. For example, you come to Karen Hospital, and you're on the ground floor, and you're going to the first floor. And I find people at the elevator, standing there, waiting for the elevator to come down to go to the first floor. And you're not disabled. You're not actually unable to walk. You're actually not coming you're coming for a general checkup. Please walk the stairs. Any building you find, walk the stairs. After all, you are rushing in the elevator to go to somebody's office to wait for them. I mean, wait for them on the stairs as you're walking up.
Yeah.
So walk. And anytime you have an opportunity, walk. Target 5,000 to 7,000 steps per day. At whatever speed, walk. If you are a receptionist in an office, please remove that chair. The worst thing you can do is sit on a chair all day long. So if you are a receptionist in a hotel, in a hospital, anywhere, stand. Don't sit on that chair, because you can still do your work standing. And standing is work, because you require a lot of energy to stand. If you don't know how much energy you need to stand, try to fall asleep when you're standing.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what DK was telling, indirectly some of the ways to make yourself exercise unconsciously or without your conscious is like using the stairs, not to use the elevator.
Right.
Or when you want to go to a nearby corner shop, don't take your car. Or when you want to go to the church, make sure you walk instead of taking the car. These are some of the ways by which you do exercise without putting an effort to it. So I think if someone makes those efforts, at least you're moving, you're burning the calories.
So the idea is to move.
Yeah, keep moving, instead of using the car for even to go to the next block.
Right. All right. Many people are guilty of that. All right, let's take a look at the next question. Clearly, this is something everybody is asking about. Good morning. I have high blood pressure. Even being put on medication, it's still high. Can this lead to heart disease?
The answer is yes. If your blood pressure is high and not controlled, the heart is just a pump. The more you make it pump harder to generate that high blood pressure, it will get tired. Like all parts of your body will get tired. And if you have uncontrolled high blood pressure on the heart, it will tire the heart, and you can go into heart failure. There's something they call high blood pressure type of heart disease. So the answer is yes. And if you have high blood pressure, it will damage not only your heart, it will damage other organs in the body. You can imagine high blood pressure. I can give an example of the pipe you use to water your garden hose that you use to water your plants with. If you open the tap and bring out of water at high pressure, that tap will crack, it will cut, it will leak if you have very high pressure inside. The same with our blood vessels. If the pressure is very high, the blood vessels actually do tear, and they start leaking out. And that's one of the reasons why we treat blood pressure. Because untreated, it will damage the blood vessels, it will tear them, and the blood will leak inside you, bleed outside. If you bleed outside in your brain, that's what you call a stroke. If you damage the blood vessels by they are cracking, they are tearing, the body will repair them, but it repairs them from the inside. It's like repairing a pipe from the inside with cement. The more you repair, the more you narrow it. So you get narrow vessels in the kidneys, kidney failure, in the heart, heart attacks, and other areas. So yes, high blood pressure, uncontrolled, is dangerous, must be controlled. But let me also add here, high blood pressure can be controlled. There is no level of blood pressure that cannot be brought down. It's a question of titration that we learned in high school. How much dawas do you need to bring it down? You keep on adding it until you get it controlled. There is nobody who can say I have blood pressure that cannot be controlled. It's a question of how many dawas do we need to add to you to control it. And I wish you are actually taking it.
Right.
Yeah, because people take blood pressure one day and then get checked the following day by another doctor. It is normal. And the guy says, it's normal. I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
No. Doing that is like going in the rain and I give you an umbrella and you say, oh, the rain is no longer falling on me. Take your umbrella. You forget that the reason the rain is not falling on you is because you have the umbrella. The reason your pressure is normal is because you took the tablets. If you stop, it will go upwards. And blood pressure is not a real disease as such. It's our body. It's how the heart is squeezing, how much pressure is generating as it squeezes. And that's your heart. So we cannot change it unless we give you a new heart. So if you have high blood pressure, it means your heart is squeezing very hard. You require medication to control it, and those medicines are going to be as long as you have that heart with you. If you want to change that heart, unfortunately, there's not many ways of changing it. Right. Maybe you can be born again, different mother and a different father, get a different heart. But as Nicodemus said, that's very difficult.
Going through the eye of a needle.
Yes.
All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look at another question here. Try to get as many of them from you as possible. Having sharp, severe pain in the chest, is that a heart condition? Could it be?
Not necessarily.
Right.
It can be, but in the chest, not only heart, you have other organs also. You have the lung, you have the esophagus, you have the major blood vessels. So the chest cage is there, the muscle is there, the bones are there. So just because you have some pain from the chest does not necessarily mean it is from the heart. It may be from the heart, but we have to evaluate. That is where you have these, diagnostic tools, checking the blood, checking the ECG, echocardiogram, and things like that, CT scan, MRI, cardio. So we have a fancy, variety of tools to check and diagnose and pinpoint what exactly is the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm told this. Yes. Go ahead.
One more point,
Sorry,
because that's a very important question. Pain in the chest. There is one particular type of pain in the chest that will tell you it's your heart. A pain in the chest that comes when you walk, when you carry something heavy, and as soon as you stop doing what you are doing, the pain goes away.
What if you bend?
No, that's different.
That's different.
Yeah, it's if you lift something heavy, or you are carrying something heavy, or you're walking up the hill, or you're walking fast, and you get a pain in the chest, and you stop, the pain goes away. Please come to Karen Hospital immediately.
Yep, that's
or to the nearest doctor.
Yep.
You need a checkup by a doctor, because that is heart. A pain that comes on exertion and disappears at rest in a man or woman over the age of 40 is heart, until proved otherwise.
Yeah. That's right.
What about the other people say, and I don't know, we hear this a lot, baridi imeniingia.
Like it's, what you call pain can be described differently by other people.
Right.
The people say baridi, the people who say nimechomeka.
Right.
The people who say nimesukumwa, it's like pressure.
Right.
There's a sensation. That sensation in your chest, if it comes with exertion, that means you're okay when you're sitting, you get up to go to the duka next door, or you go to climb a little hill, or you want to do a little exercise, or you carry a bag, and you get pain in the chest, and you stop, it goes away, immediately comes to your doctor. That's the first step towards a heart attack.
Yes.
All right, so we have, wow, so many questions. I guess we'll try to see if we can read to two, or just sort of see them, because also there's of time. The rest we'll have to refer you to...
And you can give them my number. They can call me. They can call me.
Yes.
I can answer them on the phone.
All right, okay. All right, so let's take a look at just, well, we can read through them and then just see the type of questions that are being asked, and then maybe we can see Rotten tooth on the left side, can it cause someone a serious heart condition? Okay, that's one of them. Is taking coffee healthy to the heart? Another one is, what are the dangers of borderline
cardiomegaly?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that one is complex.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll, okay, we'll talk about that. Is there any relationship between heart disease and prolonged stress? Probably because of high blood pressure, probably that would be. Can cholesterol go away with exercise without medication? That's a yes or no. Can it?
Not with exercise. Diet.
Diet. Yeah. Okay, diet. Does marijuana smoking also affect the heart? And is it related to chest pain? Yeah, this is for, by the way, it is illegal, 250,000 fine.
Exactly.
3 years in jail. However, we do know that what to bado wanna consume.
Yeah.
So that's, is it, can it also affect the heart?
Any smoke in any form can affect her.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there was a question of cardiomegaly.
Yes. Yeah, that's a case.
Yes.
Cardiomegaly means the heart is getting dilated. Okay. So you will talk in detail about it. Medical problem.
Yeah. Let me ask you by promise.
Yes.
0722.
Okay, here's the number, people. Go ahead, note it down.
0722 594 375.
One more time.
0722 594 375. I'll answer your question and I'll take your phone.
All right.
Let's come to cardiomegaly. Cardio.
I can hear it vibrating already. The phone. All right. Okay.
It's better to send a message.
Yes, send a message. Sahi bado ako kazi hapo. All right.
Cardiomegaly. Cardio is heart, like cardiac, cardiologist. That's the heart. Megaly is enlargement. So enlargement of the heart can be from two things. Either the heart is widened or bloated, because blood is coming in and is not getting out. Then it stays in and it stretches the heart, and the heart will enlarge because it has a lot of volume in it. That's one way of heart enlargement. The heart also can enlarge if the heart muscle becomes thick. We call that hypertrophy. The muscle is itself getting bigger. So you can have those two types of heart enlargement. The muscle is getting thicker, or the heart is stretched and it's dilated. Both of them are not normal. So if the doctor tells you that on your X-ray or whatever method he has used, the heart is enlarged, please go and get a checkup. Right. And checkups are useful. And don't wait until you are really very sick to go and get a checkup. Because it is better to get a checkup before you get too sick, because those things that are making you sick can be controlled. If you wait until the disease has gone too far, even when it's detected, it becomes difficult to correct.
Right.
It's like a house burning. If the fire is in the kitchen, you can pour water on it. But if you wait until the fire has gone to the bedroom and to the sitting room, the servant quarter, even if you call the fire brigade, it's a bit late.
Right.
So come regularly for a checkup. It's very important. We offer regular checkups on Karen, and other hospitals will do that. Or at your nearest place, be it a clinical officer, a nurse, any medical personnel. In fact, you can go to a chemist and buy blood pressure automatic gadget that measures your blood pressure. There are gadgets that you can prick your finger and measure your sugar. If you are too busy to do that, do those. In fact, what I did in my local church in the village is provide a small machine for checking blood sugar and a machine for checking blood pressure, and you leave it in the church. So after church, people can check their blood pressure and they can check their blood sugar. It is good because it helps the people to know their status of health. It's also good for evangelization, because now people know they can get a blood pressure check if they come to church.
They ask them, roho yako umepatia Yesu? All right. All right, well, we're out of time. Unfortunately, time flies, and I know there's so many more people. I'm told there's so many people asking questions, but Doc has been kind enough to share his number, and we'll invite them again after a period of time, because I know you have so many questions around this, because also there is always Dr. Google, and you read all kinds of stuff, and you hear all kinds of things, and it's good just to get that clarification.
But allow me just one point.
Right, go ahead.
Because this is a public forum.
Yes.
And please allow me to say that I've seen people spreading some messages on Facebook that I recommend this type to clean your vessels, this thing. Those things are fake. They are criminal. They are illegal. I do not advertise on Facebook. I don't like medical information on Facebook. If you see any Facebook message asking you to buy medicine in the name of Dr. Gikonyo, it's fake, it's false. It's good for society to know that, because it has. I kept quiet, but it's too rampant.
No, I've seen that.
We have to say it.
Yeah. Someone has hacked and did all that, you know.
Right. Yeah.
It's not him. Someone has done it.
Yeah. So please do not take any of those medications. I'm also a victim. Somebody's out giving some tea that apparently with 1 teaspoon you can lose 30 kgs.
Oh, yeah.
Haiwezekani. Mimi nilienda bariatric surgery. Hiyo ndo vile unaona nimepoteza makilo.
And we are doing it in Karen. We are doing bariatric.
Yes.
We are doing tummy reductions. We can give you gastric balloons. Dr. Mayabi, one of our surgeons, is very good at it.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do all
It can
those.
be done as
We
well.
are doing it at Karen, yes.
All right. So I guess both of you can be found at Karen.
Yes. All the time.
You can walk and ask for...
And of course, we have satellites.
Right.
I mean, we have a clinic in Meru, we have a clinic in Nyeri, in Thika, in Karatina, in Rongai, in Naivasha, in Nakuru, the main hospital. We are available at various times, yes.
Right, right. So you can...
and we will spread with time to all the counties.
Right.
Yes.
So you can check them out in those locations. His number is given as well, and you can go ahead and ask some questions and get the right information and stay healthy and walk.
I know.
So every time I get an interview with Dr. DK, and now of course Dr. Prim, I have a take home. The other one was tuachane na mamajari na solid, tuende kwa liquid. Leo, walk, move.
Yes.
So keep on.
That's a take-home message.
Yes, that's the take-home
And if
message.
you rest, you rust.
If you rest, you rust. All right. That can be said of Chelsea and Arsenal.
Yeah.
All right. I'd like to say thank you so much. I'd like to say thank you so much,
Thank
doctors,
you
for your time.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Information. And we hope that you've learned something as well. Again, we apologize if we're not able to get to your questions. I know many of you wrote in, but you can always reach out to Doc, go to the satellites, and even just walk to Karen and ask. And even when you get there, make sure you use the stairs.
Yep.
Because it's all about moving. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you again here tomorrow, where we'll have we are cooking tomorrow, so I'll be looking out for the right things. Asanteni sana.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.